All right, it's 6:02. We'll go ahead and get started. Good evening, everyone. My name is Steve Neighbor. I'm the city engineer for the city of Des Moines, also a resident of Des Moines. And tonight we're here to present the Fleur Drive reconstruction project phase 3. And phases 1 and 2, north of Watrous, have been completed. And so now we're moving on to the third phase, which includes Fleur Drive from Watrous Avenue down to McKinley Avenue. This meeting is being recorded, so we'll cover just a few, some Zoom instructions here. If you're new to Zoom, we ask that folks please raise your hand if you have questions, comments that you'd like to share, and we'll have a period at the end of our presentation where we'll stop and ask for questions and comments. In terms of raising your hand, you can click on, if you see a menu bar down at the bottom of your screen, such as the one shown on the screen, you can click on the participants tab button there, and that'll bring up and give you options to raise your hand. If you're on a phone, I'm not seeing anyone that's on a phone, but if you're on a phone, you can use *9 to raise your hand, and then *6 to mute or unmute yourself. So *9 to raise your hand and *6 to mute or unmute if you're on a phone. Otherwise, if you're on a computer or mobile smart device, please use the buttons to raise your hand and lower your hand, and we'll call on you as in the order that we receive them. Again, this meeting is being recorded. That way we can post this video on our website, share it so others can see it, so the information can be available for others as well. So Fleur Drive, this photo, I think is a photo on this corridor. Kind of shows some of the basis for this project. The roadway needs complete pavement reconstruction. So to be honest, it would be easier for us to just mill off 2 inches and pave 2 inches over it, but that would not last and would not fix the issues. And so when we talk about complete pavement reconstruction, it's completely removing the pavement and fixing, replacing some of the storm intakes, some storm pipes, putting in some under drains, putting in new curbs, and then rebuilding the pavement from ground up with a new base, and to fix it properly. And then since we're doing that, we also want to address other issues along the corridor. There are sidewalk gaps throughout the corridor, and then we have landscape medians we'd like to address with this project as well. And then Des Moines Waterworks would like to do some work on the water main that's underneath Fleur Drive. So there's a lot of work going on in coordination with the reconstruction. Here's a map showing the phasing. As I mentioned before, phase 1 was the northbound lanes of Fleur Drive from Watrous up to George Flagg Parkway. Phase 2, it was the southbound lanes, and that was just recently completed here this year. So if you've been on the corridor the past few years, you've experienced what we're continuing to do, propose tonight. So proposing to continue tonight. And so this phase is looking at it's a half-mile stretch from Watrous Avenue down to McKinley Avenue. So again, the needs, deteriorating pavement, right? The pavement condition is such that resurfacing would not fix the issues, and so we need to completely reconstruct the pavement. We talked a little bit about intermittent sidewalk facilities. There are sidewalk gaps. It is along a bus. It's along a bus route. It's along a major commercial node area, and so it's important to fill in these pedestrian facilities and fill in the sidewalks. Also, since we're going to be doing the work, currently Des Moines Waterworks has to close lanes of traffic to water the plantings, and so now is the time to address that, so we can remove. We're looking at removing and replacing the soil in these planters, and then installing new irrigation so that those can be irrigated with the irrigation system rather than shutting a lane of traffic down to water the plants. So, and that just to point out this roadway project will put in the new soil, put in the irrigation system, and then plantings would be installed as funding becomes available as part of a future contract. So when we're doing reconstruction, we do want to look at our transportation planning efforts to make sure that the road is what we want it to be, based on current and future traffic and current and future use and context. And so this section has a little over 24,000 vehicles a day. The existing speed limit is 40 miles an hour. We have run some modeling and are going to be recommending to lower that speed limit down to 35 miles an hour. And so it is also a transit route, and it also goes right through a major commercial node here. And so again, just again checking against our planning documents to how the road can be constructed. Obviously, sidewalks recommended on both sides. And then here's a cross-section look of what Fleur Drive looks like. Again, the back of curbs are being put where they are today. And so there's not really a change in terms of where the back of the curb will be. But again, we will be completely rebuilding the pavement from down to basically the subgrade or dirt all the way up with a new granular base, and then a fold up pavement, and then also adding sidewalks, 5-foot sidewalks, to make sure there's 5-foot sidewalks on both sides. So this is looking at a plan view of what's being proposed. Again, you can see kind of in the pink or purplish color there where the sidewalks are being added. There is a few geometric changes just to clarify. So the right turn lane for Fleur Drive southbound at McKinley, the right turn lane that turns if you wanted to head west on McKinley, that turn lane is not needed, and so we'll be removing that turn lane, as well as the receiving lane for westbound McKinley west of Fleur Drive. So the curb will move in that location. And then same with the receiving lanes as you turn out of some of the commercial entrances, those will be removed. So the right turn lanes will still remain, but these basically kind of acceleration lanes are being removed and not necessary. We feel it'll be better for traffic to pull out and make a right-hand turn so that they can see the traffic as they're making their turning maneuver. So again, continuing heading north, you can see Stanton Avenue for a point of reference there, kind of in the middle of the screen. So again, the complete reconstruction, there is again a number of sidewalk gaps along this stretch. The existing there's an existing turf median here near Stanton will be converted to concrete, so as well. So, and also since we're here, we will be improving the existing traffic signal at Fleur Drive and Stanton Avenue as well. Okay, continue north up to Watrous. Again, you can see more sidewalk gaps, and then as well as the reconstruction limits for the project. So again, this shows the plan view. There are some commercial signs that need to be relocated with the sidewalk construction, and those our design engineering team and real estate folks will be working with the individual property owners individually on those relocations. So this graphic, again, if you've been down Fleur Drive in the past few years, you've seen this, but just to show you what the elements of construction are and the sequence of events. Again, we're removing the pavement all the way down to the subgrade or dirt, and doing storm sewer improvements, utility improvements, and then building the rock base up, and then paving a full depth, paving the curbs, and then paving a full depth asphalt pavement, as well as, and then following that, putting in the sidewalks and then doing the restoration. So Here's the timeline for the project. We are targeting the construction to start next spring of 2023. And just like the previous phases, we do anticipate that this is a 2-year, 2 construction season project. So again, spring of 2023 to fall of 2024. And you can see there kind of the elements of the construction activities. The sidewalk work, we would anticipate that work would occur. So the bulk of the utility and major roadway work would be in 2023, within 2024, kind of a lot of the sidewalk work, as well as restoration, putting back driveways. So traffic control, and it will be similar to the previous phases. So when we're working on half the road, so traffic will be flipped over to one side of the road, as it was done for the first 2 phases. So traffic will be 1 lane in each direction. So here's a graphic that'll show that. So again, the first stage we anticipate is doing the northbound lanes or eastern lanes. So while those lanes are under construction, they'll be closed under construction. Traffic will be 1 lane in each direction, using the southbound lanes or western lanes. And then we'll alternate as we do access points. So you can see there, hopefully on the graphic, some driveway, while a certain driveway to this property is closed, we'll keep the other driveway access open, so to maintain access. So there, this graphic, the red shaded area is what's being proposed as under construction in stage 1, while traffic being maintained on using the southbound lanes. And then then again, looking at stage 2A, we'll call it, is doing the alternate driveway access points. So again, while the other ones had been paved with the previous stage, we would pave these, the ones that we kept open during this stage 2A. And again, stage 2B is continuing alternating, doing the different access points to maintain access to the properties along this corridor. Stage 3, again, now we'd be reconstructing the western lanes or southbound lanes, and traffic would be utilizing the new pavement, the northbound lanes, 1 lane, but 1 lane in each direction. And again, following the same philosophy, having to alternate and construct the access points, and even in some cases, building temporary access roads to actually get traffic to the properties while under construction. And again, that was done for properties and then in the phases 1 and 2 north of Watrous as well. And again, stage 4A, what that's showing is again alternating those some of the driveway access points to the properties and some of the side streets to maintain access. And again, stage 4B and C, continuing that alternating of building access points, pavement in front of properties at different times, so to maintain access. And the final stage 5 would be once the roadway pavement is complete, then the final stage 5 is building the sidewalks as well as the medians, doing the median work. So that work can be constructed, with a lane closure, and so that way traffic can be, where it's supposed to be. The northbound traffic is in the eastern northbound lanes, southbound in the southbound or western lanes. So I went through that pretty quickly. Brett Lewis is our project engineer. His phone number and email address are on the screen. Brett Lewis's phone number 515-208-4024, or his email BALEWIS@dmgov.org. So if you have any questions or think of anything afterwards, or would like to talk to Brett about specifics along the project, please reach out to Brett. Brett, and I've got a handful of city team members on here. Brett Lewis or Dave Camp, did I miss anything in the presentation?
I don't think so. I think you kind of covered the concepts, the scope of the project, and obviously I think that the biggest thing on this one is maintaining access. And you know, I think that's going to be the highest priority. So I think you hit all the major items.
Okay. And just to one little highlight, you know, the water main, just to point out, you know, in the first phases, the water main needed complete replacement from Des Moines Waterworks. This phase, Des Moines Waterworks is actually, you know, not full replacement of the water main. They instead will be attaching anodes to the existing water main, which basically these rods that are installed and connected to the water main for cathodic protection, which protects against corrosion. So it's not complete replacement of the water main. There also is not as much storm sewer work on this. So while some of a lot of storm intakes are being replaced, and there is some storm sewer, not as much in the previous phases. So okay, so we'll go ahead and pause here for a minute. If there are any questions, please feel free to raise your hand. If the raising hand button function is not working, please just you know, kind of speak up, if you will, please. So are there any questions or comments on this construction project?
Yeah, and like Steve said, I recognize a few names on here. Feel free, folks, to reach out to me if you have specific questions about your property for business access. We can certainly meet out there. We can talk on the phone, and I can share, you know, any additional details or questions that you might have.
I'll just flip back through the project graphics real quick, real slow. So again, here's the start down to McKinley. You can see the roadway pavement that shaded that'll be reconstructed with the sidewalks, new sidewalks in pink. And continuing on north and up towards Stanton Avenue, showing the proposed improvements. And then finally to Watrous. So, and again, staging, we talked again, the construction timeline, spring of 2023 through fall of 2024. So 2-year construction project starting next spring. And then again, utilizing the similar staging strategies in the phases 1 and 2, doing one side at a time while traffic is maintained 1 lane in each direction, using the opposite lanes. Okay, we'll pause for a minute here if there's any questions, comments. Again, as Brett said, if you'd like to meet with him directly or just talk through some specifics about your specific property, Brett's information is right there, 515-208-4024, or email BALEWIS@dmgov.org. And Dave or Brett, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the last programmed reconstruction phase for Fleur Drive. And so after that, I mean, there may need to be some resurfacing, you know, south of the project where we mill and pave the project. But I think this is the last reconstruction, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, well, with that being said, if there's any other questions, again, feel free to reach out to Brett. I'm going to flip over here real quick and just show folks is the city website now showing up?
Yes, it's been, it's works now, yes.
Okay, great. So if you go on our city website, again, we always have the projects map in the lower right, if you're ever curious about city construction projects, or if you go to departments, engineering, and then projects and studies, and you can see there is a list of projects. There is actually a page for Fleur Drive reconstruction project. And that project will also post this video on there in case you'd like to share it. There's also other information about the project. So you can go there as well. So. All right. Well, that concludes our public meeting. Again, if you have any further questions, please don't hesitate to contact Brett. Otherwise, thank you, everyone. Have a safe and great evening and try and stay warm. All right. Thank you.